So, in cosplay, we have to make sure to be safe so we don't end up like this guy, alright? Okay, so safety is something that we cosplayers often neglect because most of us are little gremlins that run off the idea of, fuck it, we ball, we gonna do this, or it's not that bad. Wear your PPE, guys. I'm gonna burst that bubble by advising you of some safety procedures and why you should follow them, because at the end of the day, it's a hobby. It should not put you at risk. Now, tool-related injuries. Now, these are definitely like the most common issues and injuries when it comes to cosplay. One of the most common risks in cosplay is injuring yourself with a sharp tool. Say, like certain bits on a rotary tool, or like fabric cutters, box cutters, X-Acto knives, scissors, etc. Whatever sharp thing you're using, like leatherworking stuff. A lot of people tend to not follow basic safety things when it comes to it. So, one of the things I always find important is when you are using blades, one, never cut away from yourself. Don't do it. Because, one, you're gonna get more jagged cut. Two, let me go cut this foam. It's not going through, you've just cut yourself! And, it ain't good. Like, I myself have had to get stitches in some of my fingers because I have gone and I have cut myself badly. So, please do not cut do not cut away, cut towards you slowly. Most of these tools are essential for working with cosplays and just making them in general. Most materials need these, but what you need to do is just calm down, have some patience, proper form, proper speed, and just do not, at the end of the day, it's a cosplay. Take your time. So when you're using a rotary tool, it ain't going near you, but you aren't going to force it down into anything. And if you are sanding something thin with a rotary tool, wear a leather or heavy-duty rubber glove, because you may not be noticing, but you could just be going sanding and oh, now you have a chunk out of your hand. So yeah, really do try and take your time, because at the end of the day, these are the most preventable injuries. It's literally just a matter of having patience. Another way in which sharps can be bad is when you're using blades. So take it, you need a 45-degree angle. You're not that good. Just go and invest in tools for it, because they can be very dodgy things and you can get hurt easily if you are inexperienced. So you'll find on Thingiverse, there'll be a lot of different 45-degree angle ones. You could directly put the blade in, or you can attach your stuff to it, or etc. Another thing to do to reduce the risk of cutting yourself or just puncturing yourself when you're using any tools, constantly sharpen. And you may think, wouldn't that increase it? No, because when you are having to use less effort to cut through something, you avoid the risk of accidentally hurting yourself. So I could be trying to cut a bit of foam, and I have a really dull ass blade. It ain't going through, and I'm pulling, and I may cut myself. And in general, a dull blade is more dangerous than a sharp blade. I know you may not think it is, but in practice, a dull blade can be much worse for you. Burns can be quite common when it comes to cosplay. So whether it's you using a heat gun, soldering iron, hot glue gun, whatever, it is so easy to burn yourself. I've had it where, I need to hold a seam down, whatever, and it was hot glue, and I put my thumb on it, and then I had skin melt off. I was like, oh, the pain. I still remember Christmas 2023. That was horrific pain. But in general, when it comes to anything heat related, be careful, wear gloves. So even if you are working with Warbler, wear gloves and do not put it directly onto your skin when it's hot. What you can do is get some piece of clothing or something insulating, then put it on. Reduce contact with the hot stuff. Or a heat gun. A lot of us don't really seem to... And with a heat gun, most people just see it as, oh, it's basically a slightly hotter hairdryer. It can melt through shit so quickly. You see what it does to foam if it's there for 30 seconds. So you need to just glove, distance, like, stay away from it. Do not burn yourself. Another way in which you can get injured this way is through things catching on fire. Because a lot of people don't know the temperature limits of the material they're working with. They don't know what point can make it go on fire. So you're trying to put bullet holes in your jacket by using soldering iron. You just lit part of your jacket on fire because you held it for 10 seconds. You gotta do it quick and just try and pay attention to the material you're working with. Constantly look at it. Look and see, because you know, like sometimes you don't even think about it and boom, on fire, boop, gone, or just melted, and yeah. So when it comes to power tools, you can easily get hurt, whether it's rotary tools or drills or whatever. Take your time, always wear gloves. If you are going to be drilling into something, have something underneath that is not your hands. No flesh underneath. Don't do it, don't be like cross-legged doing it. No, what you can do is either get some scrap wood, you know, like a cutting mat, whatever, then drill and do whatever you need, downward pressure in, because at the end of the day, these are the most valuable things you got. If you fuck up your hands, like, you can hit a nerve and basically make your hand useless. So you gotta be very careful when it comes to whatever you are doing. Chemical exposure. So, one of the main issues when it comes to cosplay is that most things we work with are super toxic. Contact cement, anyone who does wigs, ooh-hoo, glue, most spray paints, and you know, like, just most lacquers, you know, like, just most things cosplayers work with, chemical-wise, are horrific. Even heating up foam creates such toxic fumes. Okay, so a lot of chemicals cosplayers work with can be quite bad for your lungs. So, to avoid shit like chemical bronchitis, just many lung infections, a good thing to do is to practice safety. Now, invest in a mask like this, and a kind of respirator. This one was about €15. It ain't bad. I got multiple changeable ones. This is more of a dusk mask, but it does also work for chemicals. And also, if you can, eye mask, because stuff like super glue can have your eyes feeling itchy as all hell and just generally burning. Inhalation of fumes. Let's avoid chemical bronchitis, alright? Nobody wants her. Nobody wants that. So, what is chemical bronchitis, you ask? Well, because it's such a pain in the ass for me to remember this, it is a condition you can get where your lungs will be inflamed due to exposure of an irritant like fumes or certain dust. This condition can make your life hell if you get this in a severe case, so let's avoid it. So when it comes to using really any chemical, so whether it's resin or paints or sealants or whatever, let's avoid doing it in a unventilated area. So like somewhere like your room or something, don't do it. Like, if you really have to, do it next to your window. But otherwise, do it outside if available, and wear your PPE. And in general, just don't, okay. In general, what you need to do is try and limit the amount of time you're around the chemical, because yeah, it may not seem like it's too bad, but when you're there and it hurts to breathe, or you've sanded and now you have like the fumes, it will hurt. Okay, it may not seem bad where it hurts you to breathe, so you may have lung infections or whatever. Avoid the pain. Just wear a fucking mask. Go outside if possible. Always open your windows if you're working inside. Be careful when it comes to any chemicals, because at the end of the day, you got one set of lungs. You better keep good care, especially if you have asthma. So even when sanding your 3D prints, wear protection. Those dust particles can do a lot to hurt you, and it's just not fun. When sand foam as well, just wear it. Like, I have spent like a week basically coughing up foam dust and 3D print dust, which God knows is awful for you. So just try and wear the fucking mask. Just wear it. So, skin irritation or burns. Now, a lot of chemicals can really mess up your hands. So, always have some non-permeable, kind of gloves. So, whether it's silicone, rubber, latex, always have a pair when you're working with these chemicals. So, whether it's like epoxy or, acetone or white spirits or whatever solvent you are working with, protect these, because at the end of the day, a chemical burn is awful. I would rather have a burn from heat than I would a chemical burn, because a chemical burn can be absolutely horrific and much harder to recover from. Strain. Now, this isn't what people traditionally think of when they think of an injury, but think about how long you're spending bent over in a shitty position. Think of how long you are spending bent over in a weird position. Think about the pressure on your neck. Think about your back and just repetitive injuries that you can get from sewing or painting or sanding, or just doing detailing work for long hours. It builds up. You can get carpal tunnel. You can get so many injuries by just simply not taking a break. So one of the main things you can do is just every 20 minutes, take a break for 1 minute. That's all it takes to avoid this sort of thing. So, I'm sanding, hands up, I'm having a drink, I'm gonna watch a video or something, then I'll return back to it. Because, even, there are other things you can do even with strain. There are people who have sanded so long that their hands have basically all, bled and whatnot. Take your time. I know the con crunch can be stressful, but at the end of the day, it's not worth it, because the amount of injuries you can get from strain is just ridiculous. I can't list them off, because these are things that can go on for ages. Burnout. Now, in cosplay, it is incredibly easy to burn out. Now, why is this? In cosplay, a lot of us end up getting so stressed from the pressure of having to have a project done in time for a shoot, or for a competition, or just our own high expectations that we can never reach. It is good to have high expectations. It's not good to stress yourself out and basically ruin yourself mentally for a costume. At the end of the day, this is a hobby. When I was building Rook, I spent 29 hours straight staying awake. I literally was pulling an all-nighter for this. This was the day before the con. I was so stressed, and you know what? I hated that cosplay. I hated that cosplay because I knew I was able to do much better, but because I decided to constantly destroy myself to try and finish this on time, I ended up with some I wasn't proud of. I placed in a competition, but I knew damn well I was not proud of that cosplay. Like, I had so many issues. I ended up starting to put stuff together with hot glue, like for my gambeson. I messed up so many different parts, and that only lasted for the con, because I sped up myself so much to meet a deadline rather than throwing my hands up and saying, it's fine. There's always next time. So when it comes to cosplay, sometimes giving up is the best thing you can do. Let go. You may not be able to do the competition this time. There's always next time. There's always more competitions. So if you're finding yourself basically destroying yourself and your self-worth over a cosplay, throw your hands up. The truth is, cosplay is supposed to be fun and fulfilling. And when you are getting yourself to a point where it is not fun and it is only stressful, you need to reassess. Because you start to feel horrid. You start to possibly go into a depressive state. You're going to lose sleep. You're just not going to be happy. So sometimes, don't do the con crunch. It's not always worth it. When it's a minor thing, yeah, do the con crunch. You only got a belt to make? Do it! When you are only 40% done with your costume a few days before the con, maybe take your time, and if you don't finish it, that's it. Like, it's fine. Cosplay should be fun and fulfilling, and when it is not, then there's no real point. It's costume and play. If you aren't having fun, you ain't doing it right. Like, at the end of the day, you find yourself stressed, you find yourself losing sleep, you find yourself having lower self-worth over a costume, throw your hands up. That's it. The con crunch is not always worth it.